East Coast to the world, scream it out.
Steady the Barber.
Yeah.
Steady the Barber.
Fresh fade with the line, good looking out.
Steady the Barber.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Steady the Barber.
YouTube to the gram, scream it out.
Steady the Barber. Steady the Barber.
I look so fly, I be like.
Steady the Barber.
Yeah.
Steady the Barber.
YouTube, what's up? It's your boy Seti back with another tutorial for y'all. Today we're going to do the low to mid skin fade with a twist sponge on top. So let's jump into it. As you can see, he's in desperate need of a cut. So let's hook the man up. Let's bring him back to life, guys. In today's tutorial, I'll be using the Andis cordless masters, and I'll be using the Babyliss Silver Pro FXs. So for this first guideline, we'll be going in with the blades closed, the lever closed, making an even guideline all the way around, dropping it down in the back. Lots of passes over the area. You want to make sure that the hair is cut evenly and you're not leaving anything behind. So once you finish your initial guideline, grab your trimmers and start balling them out. Stay low, don't go up to that top line, stay a little underneath it, lots of passes over the area, and let the trimmer do the work. We don't need any irritation. So flipping your trimmer over and completing the ball process like this will allow you to get a lot closer to the skin. The reason you do this is because his skin can't handle the shaver, so you're going to stop all the ingrowns and irritation by not using it and only using your trimmer. For our next guideline, we're going to open the lever all the way and go up about an inch, 3/4 of an inch, and work your way all the way around from one side to the other. Lots of passes again over the area, making sure it's nice and even. If you're liking this tutorial, give me a follow on IG. I post new content daily, lots of tips and tricks. So once you finish that top line, you want to close your clippers all the way and just open them slightly and just attack that bottom line. Make sure you don't move up too high with the lever closed and only open a bit. Just take your time and work from one side to the other. So now that I got that line blended out, I'm moving up a little more towards that top line, so I have to open the lever a little more. And again, lots of passes over the area and attack that line. So you see on the back of his neck where he has those scars, you can exfoliate that in the shower daily and use some cocoa butter, and those will eventually fade away. Remember, the higher up you go towards your top guideline, the more you have to have your clippers open. So you have to open that lever the higher up you go, or you're going to create light spots. So here I have my clippers open all the way and then closed just slightly. So I'm going up just underneath that top line to make sure everything is blended in nice and smooth. The more passes you guys make over these areas, the cleaner your fade will be. So make lots of passes if you want that crisp, blurry fade. Hey, let me know in the comments what y'all think about this clipper. I'm going to switch to the fade blade. This is just a standard blade on there now, but I'm going to switch here for my next tutorial. Let me know what you think. So once you think everything's looking good, you want to detail that area before you put on your next guard and move up. So if you see any lines, you want to play with your lever and knock those out before you jump into your next guard. So here we put on our one guard and we open the lever all the way, and we're going up about an inch, and we're going to work our way from one side to the other. Lots of passes over the area to make sure that hair is cut at a true one guard open. As you can see, I'm running over the area a lot. I need that hair to be cut at a true one open level. So make lots of passes over the area, guys. Lots of passes. So I have the lever closed and then open just slightly, and I'm staying down close to that bottom line there, and I'm going to work from one side to the other, making lots of passes over the area. And as you move up closer to your guideline you just created, you have to open your lever more. You don't want light spots, so open your lever as you move higher up.
I got that Andis, got that wall. Top is high, fade is bald. If you want it, you can get it. All you gotta do is call. Is you trying to get faded? Tapered.
So here I just open my lever more as I moved higher up, and I'll just work from one side to the other.
Looking all right. East coast to the world, scream it out.
Steady the barber,
Yeah.
steady the barber,
Fresh fade with the line, good looking out.
steady the barber,
Oh yeah, yeah.
steady the barber,
YouTube to the gram, scream it out.
steady the barber, steady the barber,
I look so fly, I be like,
steady the barber,
yeah.
steady the barber.
So once you finish that, I put on my half guard, I open my lever all the way, and I go up to that top line, and I go just underneath it and work my way down, slowly closing the lever as I get down to that bottom guideline. This is going to make your fade look nice and smooth and knock out any dark spots that you see. So here I have my lever closed, and I'm staying down right around the bottom of that line. You don't want to go up high because you'll create light spots in your fade. So while you have this guard on, you want to detail that area. You want to play with your lever, knocking out any dark spots that you see. You want this area to look nice and smooth before you put on your next guard and move up. So take your time and do the little things, the little details, guys. So as we get around to the back here, around the occipital bone, his hair goes a lot of different ways. So you just want to use your corner of the blade and get into those tight areas and make sure you're going against the grain and knocking that hair down so it's nice and smooth. Here I took off my guard and I opened my lever all the way. So I'm going up just underneath that top line and I'm working my way down. I'm smoothing out, so I'm going with the grain. This is going to knock off anything that's sticking up. This is going to make your fade look nice and smooth. y'all are enjoying this tutorial, give me a thumbs up, ring the bell there so you know when I drop a video, subscribe, and follow me on IG. So our next step here, we put on the 2 guard and we open our lever all the way, and we're going up with a flick at the top. We don't want to go into the round of his head, we want to go straight up. So you need a nice flick at the top or angle your clippers out as you get higher up. So just take your time, work your way around. Once you finish that, you want to close the guard a bit, so close your lever and attack the bottom of that line. You don't want to go up to where you just flicked out, you want to stay underneath it and attack the bottom of the line and try to blend in from your 2 to your 1 guard open. Here we're just repeating the process on the other side. So now I put on my 1 guard open and I'm just attacking that line again to make that blend smooth. You want a nice transition from your 1 to your 2. We got the guard off and we're smoothing out again, but we're going up a little higher than what we did the first time. You'll see the dark spots, and those are the areas that you want to smooth out. So just take your time and go with the grain on those dark spots. We're just doing some detailing here, using the corner of our blade and knocking out any lines that you see before we move on to the next guard. So once you got all that faded in, now we want to transition the sides into the top. So we're going to smooth out around the edges where you'll see the hair sticking up. And we have on a 2 guard open, and we're going with the grain all the way around from one side to the other, knocking off that hair that's curling over the edge.
All you gotta do is call. Is you trying to get faded?
So now we flip the clipper over with the 2 open, and we're going against what we just did, just to make a smooth transition.
Steady the barber. Steady the barber.
Fresh fade with the line, good looking out.
Steady the barber.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Steady the barber.
Play with your lever, guys. If that line's not coming out, you gotta close it. Trust the process. Just close your lever and knock those lines out.
Steady the barber. Steady the barber.
So I'm back in there with my 1 guard. This is a different 1 guard. I find it grabs the hair a little differently. So I'm back in there doing a little detailing, cleaning up the area before we move on to our next step. And make sure when you're doing these details that you're using the corner of your blade. You don't want to create any lines or any light spots as you move up. So use the corner of your blade. Once you get your fade complete, next you're on to the lineup. I got my silver FXs with the graphite blade. I'm starting in the middle of his head and I'm working to the right and to the left. You want to keep his shape up as natural as possible, so don't push him back. Keep his line as close to the front as you can keep it. When you're working on the point, guys, up in that top right corner, you want to make sure you got your angles right. You don't want to angle that and cut off the bottom point. See right here? I'm in the corner, the top corner. You want to make sure that's set back a little further than the bottom point, closest to his eyebrow. Brush his hairline a lot. Make sure you get all the hairs overhanging that line snipped off. So when you're doing the arch, guys, make sure you don't push them back too far. You don't want a bunch of stubble when it's growing back. You want to keep it natural as possible. I usually start at the top and then I'll come down to the bottom and I'll meet in the middle. So I'm starting here at the top. I'm making that point come out to the same spot as the other side does. And then I'll go down to the bottom and I'll meet it in the middle. So now we're going to hit him with the blade. Make sure you get a good stretch on the skin. You want that blade to slide smoothly. And here we're cutting off all the stubble that the trimmer left behind. So make sure you get a good stretch. If you guys have any questions on anything I've done today, hit me in the comments and I'll make sure I get back to you. For my blades, I'm using Shark. I ordered those off of Amazon. So we're going to add some enhancements to the front of his line. I'm using a semi-permanent dark brown dye, and I put that through my air compressor. So we'll spray that. Don't spray too much, you want it to look natural. This will bring your fade to the next level. So once you're finished with the enhancements, you want to go back in with your trimmers or your blade and sharpen up that line. You only have a few seconds, so you want to get in there as soon as possible to remove any dye and make those lines sharp. Grabbing some Ajiva gel wax. What this is going to do is help his hair stick together when you're twisting it up with the sponge. So you want to grab a good amount, usually like a quarter to a loonie size, rub that all through, and then go back in there with the sponge. And when you're using the sponge, you want to make sure you're not pushing too hard. You want to do it very lightly on the top so the hair gets into the holes and twist up. When you push too hard, you flatten the hair out so it doesn't twist the way it should.
he gon' have you looking alright. East Coast to the world, scream it out.
Steady the barber.
Yeah.
Steady the barber.
Also, when you're using the sponge, make sure you're going in the same direction the whole time. Here I'm going clockwise, so I'll do that the entire time. You don't want to untwist what you're twisting up. And the more you go over it, the more separation his twist will have. So this is the cut. I hope y'all like it. This is a low to mid skin fade with the curl sponge on the top. I use a semi-permanent brown dye for the line. If you like it, give me a thumbs up, subscribe, and follow me on IG. Appreciate y'all. Deuces.
Is you trying to get faded, tapered? Wanna get fresh for the night? Call the homeboy, said hit him up when you're ready, and he gon' have you looking alright. East Coast to the world, scream it out.
Steady the barber.
Yeah.
Steady the barber.
Fresh fade with the line.